once you become associated with any form of structured learning, you now become what? You now become conditioned. Conditioned to think like this group. And we see what controls this world today. What controls our society today. What and who have a voice today. If you as a person speak, do you have a voice? No. You must be affiliated or associated with some group. So this is why we have the LGBT, we have the Black Lives Matter, you have the veterans, you have Occupy Wall Street, all these different groups that keep popping up with a what? A voice. The union. Because you can't even make a claim for what your worth and value is. No longer value is ascribed nor prescribed to an individual. Values now are determined based upon group setting. Group setting. So no longer disciples are individual, but disciples now are what? Group affiliation. Church body. Pentecostal, evangelical, Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, all the likes, non-denominational, all these different groups. If you're not associated, then you are what? They will call you a what? They will call you a runaway, a radical, and anything that because you don't belong to a group. Now when you look at Yeshua Mashiach, was he part of the Sanhedrins? Was he part of the Jewish tradition and culture of the day? No. He was a Jew. He had kippah. He wore tzitzit. He wore his shawl. He wore all that associate him with who meaning positionally on it, who he is based upon his genetical attachment to his people. He was a Jew, so he dressed like a Jew. We see in Matthew when they say, and if the woman can press through and touch you what? The hem as a translated. But it's not him, it's tzitzit. Tzitzit. And that in itself, it shows you that what you have Christ, Yeshua Mashiach, what he did? What he doing there? He is showing a Talmidim who and what he ought to follow. Who he ought to follow and what he ought to follow. He ought to follow. Who speaks about what? Your culture. Within where you live. Who? That's dealing with what? Person. Who did Jesus follow as a person? Who did Jesus follow as a person? Now you see though, when you speak these type of an idea, we know, did Jesus follow anybody on earth? No. Did Jesus follow anybody on earth?
Not anybody. What do you mean?
Any person, any physical man on earth? Oh, no. He didn't follow any physical person, but did he follow ideas on earth?
Yes.
Yes, he followed ideas. So now we see that the persons that he followed, were they alive?
Yes.
The persons, the ideas that he follows, were the persons alive? The ideas that Yeshua followed, were the people alive? No. So he followed people by extension of their ideas. So we all must follow what? Someone. On the basis of what? Truth. Emet. On the basis of truth. Now, look at something. Who did Yeshua follow? Who did Yeshua follow? Huh?
In the Old Testament.
Say that again?
People in the Old Testament.
No, I want to. Yes, that's right. But what is the word the author use? Not Old Testament. The Torah, the scripture. That's right. That's who he followed. He followed what? Scripture. And all through, you see, he made what? Reference to scripture. He said it is written. It is written in the law and the prophet. If they don't believe the law and the prophet, how would they believe a man coming back from the dead? No, this is what Yeshua is making this. So now you're seeing, he is setting the prerequisite for what? Let me write the next word here before I continue with this. Amen. Talmidim or Lamed, right? Talmidim, and this means, this is the same word, this is what means, this Talmidim means, you can just leave it for now, it means disciple. Okay? So now look at something. Jesus Christ, Yeshua Mashiach, he is setting forth the example for all his disciples. Now, they translate the word Talmidim. Now, that word Lamed, Talmidim come from, well, not Talmidim. If we just look at this word here, Lamed. Lamed means to learn, to instruct, to teach, to train, to learn, to teach, or to train. This Lamed here, it means to teach. It means to teach. Now you're seeing something totally different, right? To instruct. To teach, to instruct, and to train. And to train. Now, what's the difference between this pupil and these words here? You see, pupil, matetis, right? And it means disciple. And a disciple, when we hear it in the West, what we just think? We just think about somebody who learning or somebody who following someone. Right? Following someone, just running behind them. And oh, look at his disciple. Good? Somebody who what? Mimicking the behavior of another person. Look at how destructive this word is in the West. When you say I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. Huh?
I just think of 12 disciples.
Right, I'm right, because that is what you remember. 12 disciples, because that's how it is translated, the 12 disciples. But the Hebrew is what? Lamed. Lamed. And we seen Talmidim. Now, you got Matthew 24, 6:24?
Verse 24, yeah.
Okay. Somebody can read that for me?
And Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wants to come with me, he must deny himself. Take up the cross and follow me.
Right? So you're seeing it's about what? Self-denial. So a disciple or a lamed or a talmidim or talmid is one who what?
Deny self.
Is one who becomes self-less. No longer he sees his own self or interest. Somebody find Luke 14:26. Renunciation.
Luke what?
Luke 14:26. Luke 14. Can you read it for me?
If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple.
If anyone, now you hear what he said? If any man come to me and hate not. Hear these words that the translators and they're using, right? And hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life. His own life also he cannot be what? My disciple. So now look at something. But disciple just looking something like a follower, somebody who just running after Jesus. But we're going to see how this Talmidim will give you a clearer understanding of what disciple really means and really saying. Because this same word, it comes from this Hebrew lamed. John 8:31. Somebody find John 8:31.
John 8,
31.
verse 31.
I got it.
What kind of fast?
I got it.
You get the fast.
And who have John 4? I mean Luke 14:33. So all I have there, right? All I have John 8:33. So who have Luke 4?
Is it 33 or 31?
31.
8:31.
8:31. That's John 8:31, and then Luke 14:33. So two person opposite find those two scriptures. And read first Luke 14:33 for me.